Hello everyone, I'm George Taylor from ImagiNERDing, and on this video, we're going to visit Alcatraz. East, that is. Alcatraz East is a crime museum located at the island in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I was offered media tickets as part of the Dollywood Social Influencers meetup that I had attended. I'd never been to a crime museum, so I was interested in checking out the place. If you've ever been to Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, parking can be a major issue. And even though Alcatraz East, the crime museum, is part of the island, which has a massive Disney-style parking lot with trams, you can actually park right in front of the Alcatraz East building. Although you are welcome to park at the island's parking tram, it's still a good 15-minute walk to get to the crime museum. The building has its own architectural antecedents. It's modeled after the Tennessee State Prison that was built in 1896, and the gun towers that you see on the building are modeled after the gun turrets and light towers of Alcatraz itself. There are 2 floors that contain the 25,000 square foot exhibit space. There are more than 100 interactive elements and 5 different galleries with over 20 different exhibit areas. Once you're processed, turning in your ticket, the first area is the history of American crime, which actually looks at the beginnings of crime, so to speak. You learn a lot about the early torture devices, pirates in the area, not in the Caribbean, and they slowly lead you into the Old West. And right from the beginning, it is obvious that the museum has some incredible displays and exhibits. The theming is top-notch, and they went to a lot of expense that give you the feeling that you're in a specific place and time. As you traverse the museum, you go through centuries of the United States. After the Old West, which looks at a lot of the old outlaw gangs, we start to see late 18th and early 19th century crime. This then leads us into the Prohibition area and the beginnings of, the celebrity bad guys and gals. I'm not joking when I mention that I read every single plaque in the building. The stories of these pop culture figures are as spellbinding today as they were 100 years ago. Next up is the Mafia and Gangland related criminals exhibit. Mob bosses, godfathers, and hustlers are all on display. We move into more modern times and learn about counterfeiters, computer crimes, and federal crimes. And at this point, I spent almost 2 hours straight in the museum and I needed a break. I had to find a little area to sit and sort of recharge for a few moments. The next big gallery looked at more modern crimes and might be the area that younger kids might want to stay away from. The biggest part was the area about serial killers. Again, it was morbidly fascinating and frightening. From the beginnings of serial killers in the US to John Wayne Gacy to the Washington Sniper, there was just so much covered about the evolution of serial killers and how they caught them. There was also space dedicated to internal terrorist attacks and hate crimes. And the middle part of the museum was quite sobering, but still very educational. The last sections of Alcatraz East looked at different prisons and how they evolved and changed. There were execution devices like the well-known Sparky the electric chair. They had examples of cells that criminals had stayed in, some famous criminals as well, and equipment from different prisons in different time periods. It was definitely not Orange is the New Black. You do also get some insight into the judicial system, and that includes lineups, investigations, courtroom procedures, and a lot more. The final areas touch on some very big props like vehicles, as well as tributes to police and law enforcement. Now, the museum itself recommends about 2 hours, but I easily spent 4 hours and I loved every single minute of it. Okay, so I just finished a tour of the new Alcatraz East Crime Museum, and I have to say I was blown away by it. It was good and terrifying. I learned a lot. It was scary. Don't think it's for little kids, not at all. And I was in it about 3 hours. I pretty much read everything about it. Loved it. Definitely worth an addition to your Dollywood Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg vacation. Very well done. Lots of great theming throughout. And, hey,
So I'm not going to commit a crime now, right?
I'm George Taylor from ImagiNERDing, and I'd like to thank you so much for checking out this video about Alcatraz East. Have you had the opportunity to visit this crime museum that's located just a few minutes away from Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee? Let me know and leave me a comment. I'll see you in the next video.